Welcome to Twitter Essentials in Under an Hour. In this lecture, I'm going to give an overview of a Twitter platform. But first, let's talk about what Twitter is. Twitter is a microblogging site, which is a tool for making short, up to 140 character updates or tweets. Others then follow these updates in a real-time stream called a timeline. Followers can also comment on updates so that conversations can happen around these updates. This makes a microblogging site sort of a hybrid between a blog and a social network. First, let's talk about your profile page. You can get there by clicking Me right here, and what you're going to find on this page is your personal timeline. So you're going to find the tweets that you have made on Twitter. You're also going to find the images that you've recently used on Twitter over here in the left. Now here is the header area of your profile page. We're going to talk about that in a later session as far as setting that up and optimizing it. But basically what you have is the icon here that's used to represent you throughout your profile. And then also a bio and a little bit more information like a nice clickable URL to your website. The other thing you're going to see on this page is this little button right here. And if you click on that, you're taken to the direct messages area, and here's where you can either send direct messages to people or where you can read messages that have been sent to you. Now direct message is different from a tweet in that it's like a private message. Nobody else can see it in your timeline or the person who sent it. Also from our profile page, over in this area here, we can find out who we're following, get a little bit more information about the people that we're following. We can take a look at our followers, in other words, the people who are following us. We can take a look at the tweets that we have favorited, and then we can also take a look at Twitter lists, the lists that we've created or the lists that other people may have added us to. Now, a lot of these concepts we're going to be talking about later on in the class. Right now I just want to give you an overview of the site. For instance, lists is one of the things that we're going to be talking about in a later lecture. Now a little further down on the profile page, we see a section called Who to Follow. And these are people who Twitter is recommending that we might want to follow. We can refresh this view, or we can also view all and get a longer list of recommendations. And then below that is a section called Trends. Now these are categories that are presently trending on Twitter. Now you can change what shows up in this section by clicking the Change button. Now all this does is let you change the area that you want to see the trends coming from. So if we click on Change here, from here we can choose a new location. So we can choose worldwide or countries, and if we click on a country, it will further filter it down by city. Now let's take a look at the Twitter home page. When we go to Home, we not only see our own tweets, but we see the tweets from all of the other people we're following. And we also see just kind of a snapshot of our Twitter account here. We don't have a header on this page. And we still have our Who to Follow and our Trends section. The @Connect section of Twitter shows us interactions that we are having with other people on Twitter. It'll show us things like people who have retweeted us, people who have mentioned us in the body of their tweets. We're going to be talking about things like retweeting and mentioning later on in the course. It'll also show the conversations that you're having with other people on Twitter. And you can even further filter that by just saying the individual mentions. Like I said, we'll be talking about that later on. Now the Discover section is where you can discover things like people and tweets and explore broader categories on Twitter. So here we're in the tweets section, and it'll show us kind of trending tweets. And these are not necessarily tweets from people you're following, and they could even be promoted tweets for that matter. In the activity area, this is going to show us all of the activity that's happening with the people we're following. So it's going to show us things that they've favorited, perhaps some other people that they have followed, and so forth. And then here is the Who to Follow section. We took a look at this briefly earlier, but this is what will happen when you pop it open completely. You'll see a longer list of people that Twitter will recommend you might want to follow. The Find Friends section allows you to find people in your email accounts that you may want to follow on Twitter or invite to follow you. We're going to be talking about this as well as how to find people to follow more at length later on in the class. And then finally, the Browse Categories section shows you broader categories of people or brands or businesses that you might want to follow. Now, moving along in the upper navigation area, we come to the search box. When we enter a term in here to search in Twitter, we're going to see a number of options over here on the left. We can search tweets, we can search people, and we can also take a look at some top videos. When it lists tweets, it's going to show tweets that actually use the term mobile marketing within the body of a tweet. When we search people, we're going to see people, businesses, and brands that either use this term within their name or their bio, or we're going to see people who typically tweet a lot on that topic. And now when we search videos, we're going to see a really nice little video player here that we can scroll through all of the different videos relevant to the search term mobile marketing that we used before. And then we come to this little gear. When we click on that gear, we're going to see a number of options. One of them, we can go to direct messages from here, which we've already taken a look at. We can look at our lists. We can go to get some help. And we can also learn about keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts can help you navigate the Twitter platform a lot easier. And moving down the list, we can get to Twitter ads from here. We'll be talking about that a little bit later in the class. We can also go to settings here. And from settings, there are a lot of ways in which you can customize your Twitter account and so forth. And we'll be talking about that also at length in a later class. Now finally, this very last button over here is where you can actually start composing tweets. And we'll be certainly talking about that a lot more during the rest of the class as well. So here's what you should take away from this lecture. We learned that Twitter is a combination of a blog and a social network, that updates are called tweets and are displayed on a timeline in real time. Your profile contains a timeline of your tweets, while your homepage contains tweets of those you follow. You can send direct messages or view your followers, who you follow, favorite tweets, and view your lists from your profile page. The Who to Follow feature helps you find others to follow, and you can set the Trends feature to display trending tweets from specific locations. The @Connect area lets you see how people are interacting with your Twitter account. And the Discover area helps you discover trends, view others' activities, and search within Twitter. You can search tweets, people, and categories using Twitter search. And that concludes this lecture.